Hello everyone watching this video. Today I'm going to introduce 4 distinct types of leaders: economic leaders, buff leaders, control leaders, and special leaders. I will score each leader on 7 distinct abilities: economic capacity, defense capability, drop capability, buff capability, control capability, adaptive capability, and special ability. I will rate each ability on a scale from 0 to 10, where 0 stands for the worst and 10 for the best. First, let's start with Cutter. I'll give him a score of 2 for economic capacity. Apart from his UNSC raid leader power, which boosts the economy, Cutter has no other abilities to strengthen his economy. That said, his leader power that speeds up node capture is really excellent. I'll give Cutter 4 points for defense capability. He has no leader powers that fortify buildings, yet he can assist in defense via orbital drops, which is decent. Even so, Cutter is primarily an offensive-focused leader. I'll give Cutter a full score of 10 for drop capability. Cutter's leader powers are mainly centered around orbital drops, which is extremely solid. He can pull off powerful combos by pairing ODST drops with Spartan raiding tactics. I'll award Cutter 2 points for buff capability. Only UNSC raid and battle-hardened can bolster his units. I'll give Cutter 6 points for control capability. His orbital drops can stun ground units, and it works really well when you chain various drop abilities with Spartan raid to pull off combos. I will give Cutter a full score of 10 for adaptive capability. Cutter boasts excellent adaptability to battlefield situations and on-the-spot responsiveness. His diverse orbital drops allow him to fight effectively against all kinds of scenarios. Close air support delivers devastating aerial firepower, and Archer missiles grant Cutter powerful area of effect siege damage. I'll give Cutter 2 points for special ability. Aside from deploying ODSTs, he has no other standout unique abilities. So it's time to categorize what type of leader Cutter is. I classify Cutter as a control leader. Fundamentally, Cutter dominates the battlefield and provides instant support through powerful orbital drops. He excels at reinforcing friendly forces, applying heavy crowd control with his drops, and suppressing enemies via close air support. The next leader is Isabel. Starting with economic capacity, I'll give her a score of 4. Her leader, Power Accelerated Assembly, reduces vehicle production costs and construction time. This lets you save resources and speed up the building of vehicles, which is a huge boost to the economy. I'll give Isabel 6 points for defense capability. Isabel has great leader powers to protect her units, yet she has no abilities that fortify buildings. She can safeguard her army with heavy metal and combat salvage. The best defense grants M808S Scorpions and EV-44 Nightingales extra shields and boosted health, which is extremely effective. I can only give Isabel 1 point for drop capability. Turret drop is her only orbital drop ability, and dropping units is never her strong suit. I'll give Isabel 8 points for buff capability. She actually has extremely powerful leader powers that buff vehicles, making her units as tough as steel. I'll give Isabel 5 points for control capability. Ghost in the Machine is her only powerful crowd control leader power. This ability works exceptionally well and grows stronger as the game progresses into the late stage. I will award Isabel 7 points for adaptive capability. Isabel usually only truly becomes powerful once she reaches tech level 2, so she lacks strong adaptability to various battlefield situations while still at tech level 1. I'll give Isabel 6 points for special ability. Isabel has some really unique mechanics, such as holographic decoy and Ghost in the Machine, both of which are extremely effective. Therefore, I classify Isabel as a buff leader. Isabel fundamentally fights battles by buffing vehicles, as well as cutting vehicle production costs and build time. And this trait is extremely prominent in gameplay. The next leader is Anders. I'll give her 4 points for economic capacity. The R&D ability may not show much advantage in the early game,
Yet its economic boost becomes far more noticeable as you unlock higher tech tiers. It lets you save a large amount of power for upgrading unit technologies. I will score Anders 8 points in defense capability. The R&D upgrade equips all Talos-based turrets with energy shielding. Both Arc Defense and Sentinel Network aid defensive operations. Sentinel Synergy adds extra aggressor sentinels to Sentinel Beacon and Arc Defense. These abilities assist with both defense and offense, making them extremely effective. I'll give Anders 8 points for drop capability. He has the extremely powerful and one-of-a-kind Retriever Sentinel orbital drop, which is an incredibly strong ability. Turret drop is only average, but it still adds a few extra points to his score. I only give Anders 4 points for buff capability. Most of his buffs revolve around Sentinels, focusing mainly on tech upgrades and supportive enhancements. I can only award Anders 1 point for control capability. Turret drop is his sole leader power, capable of exerting crowd control over enemies. I will give Anders a full score of 10 points for adaptive capability. Anders boasts outstanding battlefield adaptability. Her leader powers remain useful in all scenarios, and supportive sentinels can effectively contain enemy forces. I will award Anders 10 points for special ability. Anders has exclusive unique special units in the game. She is able to deploy powerful sentinels, and the Protector Sentinel is the most cost-effective unit in the game. It is a versatile unit with low cost and high mobility. Additionally, Anders' overall design is highly innovative, so a full score of 10 is well deserved. Therefore, I will categorize Anders under the Special Leader's archetype, as she is truly one of a kind. Next up is Forge. I give him a full 10 points for economic capacity. Forge boasts extremely strong economy, mainly thanks to rolling economy, which I consider the best economic leader power in the game. Paired with accelerated assembly, Forge's economic strength becomes overwhelming. I will award Forge 4 points for defense capability. His scatterbomb works quite well for defensive purposes, and he can also rely on vehicle drop and Grizzly Battalion to aid in defense. I'll give Forge 6 points for drop capability, as he has powerful vehicle drop and Grizzly Battalion. I will give Forge 4 points for buff capability. Heavy meta can effectively boost the defense of your army, and Forge's Warthog provides defensive bonuses to nearby friendly units. I will award Forge 1 point for control capability. The EMP rounds from Forge's Warthog can effectively slow down all enemy units within its area of effect. I will give Forge 10 points for adaptive capability. Forge possesses excellent battlefield adaptability. His exclusive Warthog boasts extremely high mobility and can adapt to combat in all kinds of situations at any time. In addition, his robust economy allows Forge to expand and develop his forces rapidly. I will give Forge 5 points for special ability. He boasts a robust economy and access to the heavy M850 Grizzly. His heavy vehicles can launch surprise assaults on enemies via Pelican transport, and vehicle drop delivers heavy fire support. This sets him distinctly apart from Isabel. Therefore, I will classify Forge as an economic leader. His powerful economy is capable of sustaining his heavy vehicles. As his official description states, Forge excels with an armored-focused economy that takes time to scale up, relying on heavy vehicles to break through enemy lines. The next leader is Kinsano. I will give her 0 points for economic capacity. Kinsano is a leader focused entirely on sabotage and offensive tactics, and she has no leader powers that boost the economy whatsoever. I will award Kinsano 4 points for defense capability. She can rely on various drop abilities to assist with defense, yet she is fundamentally an offense-oriented leader. I will give Kinsano 8 points for drop capability. Her orbital drops are mainly designed to counter infantry units. The Flame Warthog is severely underpowered for its 280 cost, which weakens the overall effectiveness of Kinsano's drop abilities. I will score Kinsano 10 points for buff capability. Among all UNSC leaders, Kinsano is the best at buffing her troops. Both Heat of Battle and Hell Charge can effectively enhance the combat effectiveness of her units. Red line grants all units an initial burst of speed and damage when they are deployed, and additionally provides a permanent speed increase to vehicles and aircraft. I will award Kinsano 6 points for control capability. She also boasts strong battlefield crowd control. She can stun enemy units with a variety of orbital drops, much like Cutter. However, her drops do not offer as good a cost-performance ratio as Cutter's. I will give Kinsano 8 points for adaptive capability. She boasts excellent anti-infantry performance and solid suppressing power in the early game. Standing out as an outlier among UNSC leaders, she only grows stronger as the match progresses into the late game. I will give Tent and Datation Tiviatis. I will award Kinsano 8 points for special ability. She is the most destructive leader among all UNSC commanders. Hell is the most powerful area of effect siege ability in the game. When paired with Kinsano's Cyclops to create a wall of fire, it deals devastating damage. Her unique traits are extremely distinct. Therefore, I categorize Kinsano as a buff leader. Kinsano is in fact extremely well-rounded, featuring reliable orbital drops and powerful leader powers to buff her units. However, she lacks any leader abilities that boost the economy. Next up is Johnson. In my opinion, this leader feels like a half-finished product. Kinsano also has plenty of bugs, but at least she boasts a distinctive playstyle. Johnson's biggest flaw is that he is far too one-dimensional. Johnson only gets a score of 4 from me in economic capacity. Here's why. Digging in deep cannot be unlocked until you spend your 5th leader power point. By the time you have that 5th point, you usually have very little remaining base building space left, so the economic boost from this ability is fairly ineffective. Even so, it is still a solid ability. Digging in also reduces the resource cost of base turrets, which counts as another economy-oriented leader power. I will give Johnson 10 points for defense capability. Johnson excels tremendously at defense. Digging in upgrades resource siphons, further cuts the cost of bunker and turret orbital drops, and reduces the expense of base-built turrets. Bunker drop can secure resource nodes while supporting both offensive pushes and defensive holdouts. EMP Mac Blast poses a severe threat to enemy units, and Siege Turret Drop works well for both attacking and defending. I will award Johnson 4 points for drop capability. Bunker Drop works great when supporting infantry units, but Siege Turret Drop is fairly underwhelming. It costs too much and offers poor cost-effectiveness. I will give Johnson 6 points for buff capability. Johnson actually has several solid leader powers that grant buffs. For instance, EMP Mac Blast boosts the damage of allied aircraft and vehicles. Mech Overcharge makes all of the players' mechs invulnerable and grants them a movement speed boost for a brief period. I will award Johnson 5 points for control capability. EMP Mac Blast delivers decent crowd control effects, and Bunker Drop is also able to stun enemy units. I can only give Johnson 6 points for adaptive capability. In 1v1 matches, his biggest drawback is that he relies heavily on leader power points, making it extremely difficult for him to gain an advantage in the early game. This evaluation is based on the perspective of average players. If you are using cheats, you can ignore this comment entirely. I will award Johnson 6 points for special ability. Johnson has some excellent unique mechanics such as digging in deep and bunker drop, both of which perform well. His Mantis and Colossus units are also powerful, yet their biggest downside is extremely low mobility. That said, you can greatly improve their maneuverability by deploying Pelican transports. Therefore, I classify Johnson as an economic leader. His biggest downside is that his economy only becomes highly effective after unlocking the 5th leader power point. Next up is Jerome. Starting with economic capacity, I'll give him a score of 0. Jerome has no leader powers that boost the economy whatsoever. I'll award Jerome a score of 4 for defense capability. His Enduring Salvo and Victory Turret both offer solid defensive support. I will give drop capability a score of 8. The Victory Turret is excellent. It has a long duration and can inspire nearby units. After upgrading it, you are allowed to drop 2 Victory Turrets at once. As for Omega Team, it works extremely well against enemy vehicles, yet it is poorly costed, far too expensive, and simply not worth its 30 population cost. I'll give buff capability a score of 10. Jerome possesses extremely powerful leader abilities to buff units. He has multiple ways to strengthen your army, and he can further enhance troops via Spartan morale. I'll score control capability at 5 points. The victory turret can stun enemy units, and calling in and piloting Jerome's command Mantis also deals area of effect stuns. I'll give adaptive capability a score of 7. Upgrading Jerome's hero costs more power than other heroes, which creates certain drawbacks in the early game. Additionally, Jerome has no economic buffing abilities at all. Nevertheless, Time for Heroes provides a massive combat boost to your army. I'll give special ability a score of 8. Jerome has excellent mechanics such as Mastodon and Omega Team, but his most unique ability is field promotion. Jerome is the only leader in this game who can directly level up units. Therefore, I categorize Jerome under buff leaders. Jerome's core playstyle revolves around buffing friendly units. Ignoring economic strength and mobility, Jerome boasts the strongest frontline combat capability. Next up is Serena. I'll give her an economic capacity score of 2. Cryotech Advances unlocks Chill Aura after you capture nodes. Her cryo troopers can cripple the enemy economy when attacking enemy structures, yet this effect is inconsistent and unreliable. I will give Serena a full score of 10 for defense capability. Her Cryotech Advances delivers outstanding defensive benefits. The Chill Aura poses a major threat to short-ranged ground units. It adds a chilling effect to the projectile shells of the M400 Kodiak and Siege turret, and grants a Chill Aura to all of the player's turrets and power nodes. Both Ice Barrier and Cryogenic Generator serve as solid defensive tools. In addition, Cryo Bomb and Glacial Storm excel at crowd control against large groups of enemy units. I'll give drop capability a score of 5. What makes Serena's turret drop better than that of most other leaders is that it comes with a chill aura. Her cryo drop also deploys 3 seismic blasts on landing, which works well for combo plays. I'll score buff capability at 3 points. Cryotech Advances grants energy shielding and chill aura to cryo troopers. It applies a chilling effect to the shells of the M400 Kodiak and Siege turret, and bestows chill aura upon all the player's turrets and power nodes. I give control capability a perfect score of 10. Crowd and suppression control is Serena's biggest strength. I'll award adaptive capability a score of 8. Serena boasts solid suppressing power. Her cryo troopers perform excellently against both infantry and enemy structures. The Bison features strong defense and wide-area crowd control, with its only downside being an extremely slow movement speed. I will give special ability a score of 10. Serena is a master of cryogenic technology. Ice Barrier delivers excellent area lockdown effects, while Cryo Bomb is capable of disabling enemy units. During battles, it can immobilize roughly half of the opposing army, letting you outnumber and overwhelm the foe. You can also chain it with Seismic Blast to pull off powerful combos. The Frost Draven serves purely as a support unit, and shines when targeting single enemy targets. Therefore, I will categorize Serena under the Control Leader's archetype, as she is the most control-focused leader in this game. Next up is Atriox. Starting with economic capacity, I'll give him a score of 10. Both countermeasures and fortifications can greatly boost economic efficiency. I will award defense capability a score of 10. Atriox boasts extremely strong defensive prowess. Fortifications cuts down the cost and construction time for stronghold upgrades, fortify upgrades as well as turret upgrades. Atriox's Bulwark grants invulnerability for 1.5 seconds. I can only give drop capability a score of 3. Spirit Assault works well against infantry. Upgrading this leader power unlocks Jump Pack Brutes, which is a solid bonus. I can only score buff capability at 3 points. Countermeasures also enables Gyral Hane jumpers to deploy TR9 trip mines whenever they activate their jump packs. Dying Breath targets friendly units, allowing them to continue fighting for 4 seconds upon being eliminated. Unbreakable grants temporary invulnerability to all your army units. I can only give control capability a score of 1. Attacks from Atriox's Chosen apply a slow effect. I will award adaptive capability a score of 10. Atriox demonstrates excellent battlefield adaptability, holding distinct advantages both in seizing nodes and mounting defenses. I will give special ability a score of 8. Atriox is a highly distinctive leader. He boasts strong economic development and defensive capabilities, alongside effective traps and area of effect damage to deal with enemies. Nevertheless, Unbreakable remains his most iconic ability. Therefore, I classify Atriox under the economic leader's archetype. Atriox adopts a shrewd, defense-oriented playstyle, backed by heavy cover bonuses and invulnerability abilities. Next up is Decimus. Starting with economic capacity, I give him a score of 0, since Decimus has no leader powers that boost the economy whatsoever. I can only award defense capability, a score of 2. I give drop capability, a score of 6. Decimus drop performs really well. Decimus features solid defensive stats and abilities that deal area of effect damage over a wide range. I will award buff capability, a score of 10. Decimus has extremely powerful leader powers for unit buffs. Boundless Siphon and Boundless Fury offer excellent enhancement effects. Both abilities provide strong buffs to all units within their radius. However, the attack boost granted by Boundless Fury usually cannot make up for the health it drains from affected units. I will give control capability a score of 6. Decimus has excellent crowd control effects. Vortex Lightning not only immobilizes units within its radius, but also lowers their defense. Warlord uses a gravity beam to pull targets in and also delivers a devastating area attack. Warlord S hammer stuns and deals AoE. I will award adaptive capability a score of 8. I give special ability a score of 6. Decimus is a berserker-type leader that relies on high-damage assault tactics while draining enemy units' health. Therefore, I categorize Decimus as one of the buff leader's archetype. Next comes Shipmaster. I score him 3 points in economic capacity. Banished Raid boosts the capture rate of all units, extends the sight range of infantry, and enables ghosts to seize control points, lending modest assistance to economy. Advanced Cloaking cuts down the resource cost of cloaking generators and Clabrig workshop shrouds. I award defense capability a score of 6. Extraction can shield your troops. Spirit Support deploys 1 squad of Sangili Rangers, a pair of Ingalic Golo, and 2 Hiragak, offering sustained suppressive fire to aid defense. Displacement teleports enemy units without needing line of sight, which proves extremely useful for defensive purposes. I give drop capability a score of 4. Shipmaster's Spirit Support grants anti-infantry, anti-vehicle capabilities, and troop healing. It is well-rounded apart from lacking anti-air units. I can only award buff capability a score of 4. Shipmaster's Banished Raid increases the sight range of vehicles. Advanced Cloaking also enhances cloaking effects, and Mass Cloaking cloaks all your deployed units. While cloaked, these units receive a movement speed bonus plus a minor health siphon effect. I give control capability a score of 5. Displacement is able to teleport enemy units, which means you can manipulate the positions of hostile forces, making this ability extremely powerful. I award adaptive capability a full score of 10. Shipmaster can adapt to battlefield situations of all kinds, and his units boast outstanding mobility. I award special ability a score of 10. Shipmaster's unique leader powers grant exceptional mobility. Take Tactical Gateway, for example. This ability severely counters UNSC leaders in the late game. UNSC leaders lack shields, leaving them extremely vulnerable to sudden assaults via portal teleportation, and with no reliable way to defend against such tactics. Najin, Displacement is another leader power with enormous potential. You can teleport away half of the enemy army, letting you outnumber and overwhelm the remaining foes. Therefore, I classify Shipmaster as a special leader. He wields the most flexible and highest ceiling leader powers in the entire game. Next up is Colony. I give him 0 points for economic capacity, since Colony has no leader powers that boost the economy. I award defense capability a score of 10. Colony boasts formidable defensive capabilities. Vehicle Symbiotes permanently boosts the range and armor of selected vehicles and structures. Combat Repair continuously heals units and buildings gradually, even while they are engaged in battle. Living Barrier can block paths to trap enemy units. I award drop capability 8 points. Colony has extremely powerful orbital drop abilities. Colony Drop deals heavy damage to enemy structures. Devastating Host summons a formidable army, all of which are enhanced by vehicle symbiotes. I award buff capability a full score of 10. Colony possesses extremely powerful leader powers for strengthening units. Skitterers can attach themselves to other units to function as turrets. Both vehicle symbiotes and combat repair serve as excellent buff abilities to enhance your army. I give control capability a score of 2. The taunt ability of the Hunter Captain delivers decent crowd control effects. I award adaptive capability a score of 10. Colony boasts fierce offensive power and destructive force. The combination of Skitterers, Hunter Captains, and Goliaths poses an immense threat in the early game. Colony remains formidable even in the late game. Its only notable drawback is that it has no leader powers to boost the economy. I give special ability a score of 10. Colony is a highly distinctive leader, one brimming with brute strength and destructive potential, whose playstyle centers on durable frontline troops and sustained healing. Therefore, I will categorize Colony under buff leaders. Colony possesses powerful healing and unit enhancement abilities, which is why it remains extremely dominant in the late game. Next is Arbiter. I give him 0 points for economic capacity, as Arbiter has no leader powers that boost the economy at all. I award 4 points for defense capability. Most of Arbiter's leader powers are supportive of defense. Stasis is excellent for crowd control against enemies, and Conduit of Rage also works effectively against enemy structures. I award drop capability 2 points. Each Spirit Assault works extremely well against structures, but performs poorly in direct frontal combat. Alternatively, you can use Elite Spirit Assault to trigger Conduit of Rage. I award buff capability a score of 10, which is Arbiter's most powerful trait. Conduit of Rage heals nearby units and structures and grants them a movement speed and attack damage buff every time the player casts a leader power. Casting leader powers in succession prolongs these buffs. Upgrading Conduit of Rage greatly amplifies its effects, and this leader power yields even greater benefits the larger your army grows. Power Surge reduces the cooldown and resource cost of all the player's leader powers. Its advantages become increasingly noticeable in the late game, allowing you to cast leader powers extremely frequently. I award control capability 8 points. Stasis Mines deliver solid crowd control effects. Stasis lets the player trap units in temporary stasis to shield friendly troops or disable enemy forces. Mass Stasis features a wider area of effect and longer duration. You can lock down half of the opponent's army and gain numerical superiority in fights. I give adaptive capability a score of 10, since Arbiter is able to adapt to any combat scenario. I award 10 points for special ability. Arbiter boasts formidable leader powers. Stasis can disable enemy units or shield friendly allies. Phantom functions as a mobile garrison and aerial troop transport for infantry, while also supplying fire support. Once you field a fully established Phantom force, it becomes extremely powerful throughout the match. Therefore, I classify Arbiter as a buff leader. Arbiter buffs its army via Conduit of Rage while controlling the battlefield with stasis. Plasma Bolt gains devastating destructive power after being upgraded. Next up is Yap Yap. To begin with, I give it 0 points for economic capacity, as Yap Yap has no leader powers that directly boost the economy. I give Yap Yap 8 points for defense capability. Both Please Don't Shoot Me and Grunt Dome aid defensive efforts, and all of his other supportive leader powers also assist with defense. I award 8 points for drop capability. Grunt Dome can deploy a shield tower onto the battlefield upon activation, which absorbs incoming damage for all friendly units within its radius. This leader power brings tremendous benefits with every upgrade. Shade Drop delivers solid fire support, while Grunts from Above poses a severe threat to enemy structures. I award 4 points for buff capability. The Methane Wagon emits a methane aura that enhances the combat efficiency of Grunts while applying debuffs to enemies, and it also fires methane artillery shells. Methane Party deploys a barrage of bombs that deal damage and weaken enemy troops, alongside granting buffs to your Ungoi infantry and vehicles. Both of these abilities perform quite well. I give Yap Yap 1 point for control capability. He can stun enemies by dropping a shield tower, or by detonating the Methane Wagon to trigger an explosion that stuns hostiles. I give Yap Yap 10 points for adaptive capability. He has cannon fodder, which costs no resources at all, granting him a huge edge in the game. You can easily scout out the entire map and pin down opponents with swarms of cannon fodder units. Grunt Goblin comes with 3 abilities that mimic the effect of Atriox's Bulwark, making it extremely powerful. I award 10 points for special ability. Yap Yap has an extensive array of mechanics, many of which are completely unique. Therefore, I categorize Yap Yap as a special leader. Yap Yap possesses extremely powerful and unique leader powers and exclusive units, which can grant you a massive advantage in most combat scenarios. Next up is Voridus. I award him 10 points for economic capacity. Combat Spoils allows units to salvage resources from enemy structures they damage. This leader power yields extremely high returns and grants you a huge economic advantage. I give Voridus 2 points for defense capability. Grenadier Drop and Infusion Wake can both assist in defense. If your buildings house infused units, you can use Invigorating Frenzy to heal and buff them. Maelstrom can also disable enemies to aid defense. Even so, these abilities perform far better on the offensive. I award 3 points for drop capability. Voridus Pack Assault can be activated to deploy a veteran infused engineer and a veteran Eklondal Workshop Marauder via a Dextro Xur Pattern Spirit equipped with infusion rounds. After upgrading, it adds a blisterback and upgrades the Marauder into a Wraith. This drop ability is fairly average with no outstanding strengths, though it works for both offense and defense. I give Voridus 4 points for buff capability. Infusion Tag boosts the damage dealt by infusion pools and reduces the production cost of Brute Grenadiers and infused engineers. After being upgraded, it further raises infusion damage. What's more, Scorch attacks from Eklondal Workshop Wraith and ordnance fired by Gydroska Workshop Blisterback will leave infusion fields on impact. This ability brings solid benefits overall. Invigorating Frenzy, when activated, heals all units and repairs all structures inside infusion zones, while temporarily buffing their movement speed and attack damage. However, this effect only applies within areas covered by infusion. I award 5 points for control capability. Maelstrom boasts extremely powerful crowd control effects. Upon activation, it unleashes a massive vortex that drags all enemy units toward its center. Chaining this ability with Cataclysm at the same moment creates a devastating combo. I award Voridus 10 points for adaptive capability. He excels tremendously at offensive warfare while generating economic gains mid-attack. Infused effects deal potent area of effect damage, all of which grant Voridus a massive competitive edge. And Dinba. I award Voridus 10 points for special ability. He has 2 core leader powers, Infused and Combat Spoils. The synergy between these 2 abilities is extremely destructive on the offensive. Additionally, Voridus commands the volatile Scarab, the most powerful variant of the Scarab unit. Therefore, I classify Voridus under the Special Leaders category. Voridus centers his playstyle around aggressive rush strategies, wielding one-of-a-kind incendiary gel weaponry to lay down damaging pools of corrosive liquid. Next up is Pavium. I award him 10 points for economic capacity, as Burnout greatly boosts Pavium's economy. I give Pavium 10 points for defense capability. Pavium boasts formidable defensive capabilities. Full Salvage enables all structures to regenerate health over time, and you will obtain a full resource refund instead of a partial one when dismantling buildings. Antlion unlocks an oversized artillery piece comparable to a siege turret, which provides tremendous defensive support. Pavium's stand renders your buildings temporarily invulnerable to shield your base. I award Pavium 0 points for drop capability, since he does not possess any leader power related to orbital drops. I also give Pavium 0 points for buff capability, as he has no leader powers that can buff units in any way. I award Pavium 2 points for control capability. His ability Advanced Designator applies strong area-wide slow effects with an extremely long attack range, and it can be combined with Rain of Fire and Ultramines for synergistic use. I award Pavium 8 points for adaptive capability. Pavium is not very powerful in the T1 phase, and his power spike starts from T2. You can boost your economy with Burnout to rush into the T2 stage quickly. I award Pavium 10 points for special ability. Pavium is a leader who excels extremely well at economy and base defense, and this is his core playstyle. Both the Antlion Siege Turret and Wraith Invader are highly distinctive, unique units. The Lich Vanguard is the optimal pick to coordinate with army pushes. Deploying it at the right timing can wipe out the opponent outright. That said, Pavium has clear drawbacks. He has no leader powers to buff friendly units whatsoever, and his overall army mobility is quite low. Therefore, I categorize Pavium as one of the economic leaders. His epithet, the Unbreakable, stems from his unparalleled proficiency in defensive strategies and economic management. This wraps up my video classifying every leader in Halo Wars 2. If you enjoyed this content, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I will be uploading more videos related to Halo Wars 2 in the future. You may also support me via PayPal donations if you wish. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.